There's a difference between disruption and change, and I don't want to devalue change. It's valuable, but disruption is something that's never happened before or a 10x improvement to something that is happening, and it's all sorts of adversity that you have to fight against. So commitment to what you're trying to do is the difference between disruption and change.
In the space of less than 5 years, operating a third-party marketplace alongside your first-party retail has gone from dubious proposition to foregone conclusion. In fact, just last year, Ulta, Best Buy, and Lowe's were among the many major retailers that launched online marketplaces, and they all have one thing in common: Mirakl. We grabbed some time with the company's CEO of the Americas, Scott Eckert, at the NRF Big Show to dig into retailers' shift in sentiment about marketplaces and discuss the role these platforms are playing as e-commerce gets turned on its head by AI. Welcome back to Retail Remix. I am your host, Nicole Silberstein, Editor-in-Chief at Retail Touchpoints, and today we are live at NRF sitting down with Scott Eckert, CEO of the Americas for the marketplace platform Mirakl. Scott, thanks for being here with us.
Hey, Nicole. Thanks for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
Yes, it's very buzzy here on the show floor. I want to start the conversation with you today by kind of casting our mind back maybe 5 or so years ago to a moment in time when adding a third-party marketplace was kind of seen as like a suspect strategy in a way among the retail community. That has really shifted to today. And Mirakl has been a big part of that shift. So I was hoping you could kind of talk us through how we got there and where things stand today with regards to the industry, the retail industry's attitude toward third-party marketplaces.
It's a great question because you're right, it has changed in the last 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
What's happened is first, Amazon and Walmart have clearly shown the value of marketplaces, and their marketplaces are growing faster than the rest of their core business, and they've been talking about it publicly. Mm-hmm. We have brought on 450 different retailers that are Mirakl clients that are also having a tremendous amount of success.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that many.
Yeah,
so 450.
450. Wow. And they're having a tremendous amount of success. So marketplace is growing faster than their e-commerce business, and their e-commerce business is growing faster than their stores business if they have a stores business, and often significant multiples. I mean, our Mirakl's business is growing, the GMV through the Mirakl platform is growing 30-40% a year. So it's been very, very successful. And success begets success. That's right. This year we've brought on a lot of new clients that have been talking about their marketplace success.
Big name. I mean, it's legitimacy too, right? Because now some of these clients you brought on last year, big names.
Yeah, I mean, Lowe's, Best Buy, Ulta Beauty, well-known brands, big retail platforms, big commerce platforms on their e-commerce platforms on their own, and very successful marketplaces. So the industry has shifted to understand that marketplace is a viable part of a full e-commerce strategy for many, many different types of retailers.
Yeah. It does still feel like a lot of the impetus for retailers behind it, though, is to kind of keep up or at least be able to keep pace with Amazon and now maybe also Walmart. Do you find that to be true? What reasons are you hearing from your clients about why they are now ready to add a marketplace?
So our customers, they're playing offense, not defense, right? They've been competing with Amazon and Walmart already. And so that's not new. What Marketplace is allowing them to do is expand their range and deliver on what their customers are coming to their retailer for. So an important part about Mirakl marketplaces is they are curated specialty marketplaces. So our clients, the retailers, have a point of view, and there's a reason why their customers shop at their sites or their stores, and they want to take that point of view, that customer brand promise, and extend the range. Mm-hmm. And that's what Marketplace allows them to do. So it's very much playing offense, taking advantage of the asset that they've built, the brand asset and the customer base, and expanding that into additional categories or more products.
Okay. I think this might be the beginning of an answer to the next question I wanted to ask you, which is, if everybody starts to have a marketplace, is e-commerce across the whole going to just become completely homogenized? Like everybody then becomes the everything store? I'm sensing the answer is no.
Correct. The answer is no.
Okay.
Because not everybody wants to be the everything store, right? This notion of curation is a very important one. Our retail clients really want to add products to their assortment that make sense. And they're very focused on the curation aspect of it. So, but they can't manage a huge SKU assortment in their site or in their stores. And so they need the ability to have a flexible, dynamic supply chain. And so Marketplace allows you to do that. And as trends shift and you want to try new product categories or expand your assortment temporarily, you could do that through Marketplace in really no other way. And so it becomes a great way to dynamically expand and test new markets. And that's what Marketplace is all about.
Yeah, it strikes me as you mentioned curation. I mean, that is really the core of all retail, right? So in fact, it's like saying that just because everybody has a marketplace, everybody's going to become the same is the same thing as saying because everybody has a store, they're all going to be the same. It is really the same philosophy that retailers have applied for centuries, but in an online format, essentially, right?
Correct. There is a reason why customers shop at a particular retailer, and that has been carefully created by those retailers for the length of their time they've been in business. Marketplace is just an extension of that, and it's a different way to add more products, add more supply, but still take care of the same end customer in the way they always wanted. And that's why all of our retailers integrate Marketplace into their e-commerce experience, so the customer doesn't actually know that they're shopping on a marketplace. They're just shopping with Ulta or Lowe's or Best Buy, and it happens to be a marketplace model in the back end. And they're able to get the same loyalty points if that's how the retailer operates. They can return product in the retailer store. So it's an integrated experience, but it just allows a much broader range of products.
I do remember a time, so it was not too long ago, where there was a question about whether to do that, to handle your marketplace that way. And there were some early entrants who decided to place their marketplace as a separate offering on their e-commerce site. But it sounds like that strategy has also shifted, and really the go-to-market, like the best way now is to integrate into your e-commerce.
You're right. In the early days of Marketplace, there often was a, click here to go to the marketplace, which is not a recipe for success in marketplaces.
Right.
It really needs to be integrated in because, again, your end customer doesn't really know or need to know or even care how the product is being fulfilled. They came to the retailer site to shop. And so you want to integrate the experience as seamlessly as possible. You just have a different back-end system for how you satisfy that customer.
Yeah, exactly. So as we mentioned, I mean, we've thrown out a few of the names. There are many more, the retailers that you are powering this for. They also include Macy's, Nordstrom. Who else would you throw up there in that big name roster of U.S. retailers?
You've got a number of the big names: Macy's, Nordstrom, Best Buy, Ulta, Lowe's are probably the ones that we've talked about most recently. There's a long list.
Yeah.
There's also a list of smaller ones. It doesn't have to be the biggest retailers in the U.S. I mean, again, if we have 450 of them worldwide, about 100 of those are in the U.S.
Okay.
So there's smaller clients that are operators as well that have small size marketplaces that fit within the scale of their own business.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the point I'm getting at, a lot of these brands are companies that have been around a long time. They know their business. They're good at it. But they have called you in to help them with a marketplace instead of trying to do it themselves. It notably also, Best Buy did try to do a marketplace themselves and bailed on that and ended up calling you in. So what is it about running a marketplace that proves to be complicated and require a company like Mirakl?
So it's difficult. It's technically difficult.
Yeah.
You're managing a large number of suppliers and a large number of SKUs, and it's a very dynamic assortment of suppliers and SKUs. That's the point of marketplaces. It can change. And so it's a complex software solution. It's a complex cloud solution. So just technically it's hard. There also is a set of expertise that we bring, having done this for 15 years across 450 different operators, on what are some best practices that we can help clients to sort of short circuit the decisions that they might otherwise make that are wrong. Like what you just mentioned earlier on, don't have click here for marketplace, but integrate it as one simple example. And then the technology is changing. So things like agentic commerce that become an integral part of marketplace, we can provide that technology and we will build it for all of our clients at once, as opposed to somebody who is going to roll their own would have to then go off and experiment with that themselves.
Yeah.
So it just becomes a lot easier to do it with us. You can leverage Mirakl's expertise in the marketplace. And there's really a reason why only the very biggest of the big, like Amazon and Walmart, actually maintain their own all the rest and some of those biggest names we were just talking about are working with Mirakl because it just makes it easier for them to implement it with us. And then they can focus on what's important, which is their clients, their customers, their merchandising, their supply, and we'll take care of the infrastructure.
Yeah, that does sound nice. Since you mentioned agentic commerce, I do want to kind of get your take. I mean, it's flipping the book on e-commerce in general. So how are you seeing that play out in your realm of e-commerce in the marketplaces space? And what kind of impact do you anticipate that having? Is it maybe more important now to have a marketplace?
So we're in the early days of agentic commerce. And so I think 2025, there's effectively zero agentic commerce at the beginning of the year. Our clients were seeing, or so broadly in retail, we're seeing sort of single digit incoming traffic to websites coming from AI agents. So that's still small, but Of course it was zero at the beginning of the year. That's going to be double that. We'll be in double digits by the end of 2026. So it's becoming a meaningful channel for e-commerce broadly and certainly for our marketplace clients as well. And so we're working with our clients on how to become agentic ready.
Yeah.
They assume this trend is going to happen and we don't know how fast it'll take off, but it's fast. So it's already time to start taking advantage of it. And the thing we're advising is you got to get your product data clean, accurate, and machine readable so the agents find you. Because if the agent is making the selection of product on behalf of the user, you want them to select your product.
Yeah.
And so fundamentally, there's some e-commerce fundamentals and product catalog fundamentals that we have tools that are helping them to address and make sure that their products show up in agentic search.
Yeah. One of the big selling points of marketplaces always has been, though, that having more offerings online makes you more findable online, right? Do you think the same is going to hold true with the AI answer engines? So just having a broader, more robust e-commerce offering will increase the chances of you being in that comparison set that AI is looking at.
Short answer is yes. The game is you want to be in the consideration set that the AI agent is bringing back. And so you need the richest product selection, again, that fits with the brand that a retailer and the categories that a retailer is offering. But you need the richest product selection, and then you need the data all to be accurate and ready and machine readable. And the more you can optimize for each of the different AI agents, the better you will appear. So Mirakl has technology that enables our clients to enrich and enhance their catalog and make it machine readable, optimized uniquely for OpenAI versus Anthropic versus Google.
Oh, interesting.
What they look for are different. And what sorts to the top is actually different for each of those different AI agents. And we have the technology that allows our clients to optimize for each one of them uniquely.
Are you helping them only with their marketplace listings, or are you also, it feels like a natural ask to be like, hey, if you're doing it for this section of our site, could you help us with our owned inventory as well?
we are doing both because you're exactly right.
Yeah.
It's all in the catalog platform that we provide. And of course, they're doing it for their marketplace already, and we can just run their 1P through the exact same catalog transformation and enrichment.
Oh, that's going to be really important, I think, this next coming year. So that's an expansion of service. Mirakl has expanded also into retail media. Tell me a little bit more about what your offering looks like in that space, another kind of hot growth sector for retail lately.
Definitely a hot growth sector for retail and for our clients as well. Many of our larger clients already have some form of retail media, typically on their 1P products. And it works well, and it's been a rich margin stream for them. The opportunity is to light up the long tail of sellers with retail media, and that takes an advertising platform, and that's what we have provided. So it enables you to either have a standalone ad platform for your third-party sellers, or if you want to feed their ad demand into your central platform, we can do that too. But it's essentially adding more advertising demand from the third parties into your retail media platform. We also have tools for sellers. This product is called Connect in Mirakl terms, that enables sellers to provide their products onto retail marketplaces. They also have a retail media optimizing tool that allows them to optimize their spend across multiple platforms they may be advertising on. So We're actually helping on both sides of the seller and the retail operator in operating a retail media platform.
Okay. I mean, at this point, do you feel that marketplace and retail media kind of really just go hand in hand? Like if you have one, you should have the other?
I do, and increasingly our clients do too.
Yeah.
Retail media is becoming so prevalent in e-commerce anyway that it's a natural extension to say, well, marketplace is itself becoming very prevalent in e-commerce. This ought to be an integrated whole. Marketplace, e-commerce, retail media, all as one platform, is an integrated whole for our operators.
It all just kind of makes sense too. It is many of the sellers who sell on the other larger platforms like maybe Amazon or Walmart, or it's also familiar to them, right? They understand trying to also help themselves to sell on these marketplaces through advertising.
That's why we have that other product I mentioned for sellers, because it's part of the business mix, and they're thinking about how do I spend their own ad budget to drive demand across whatever platforms they're selling on. And it's a managed business expense, and we want to help them manage it and optimize it themselves. Similarly, the retailers are optimizing how they want advertising product to appear on their website.
Yeah.
But it is a standard part of e-commerce these days.
Yeah. So I also saw something more recently about a new partnership with Stripe. This has to do with Agentic commerce. That one I don't know much about. So what are you doing with Stripe? Is it related to the catalog enrichment stuff?
Yeah. So what we are doing at Mirakl more broadly is doing an orchestration platform for Agentic to connect merchants into AI agents. And so there are a couple of pieces. One of them is this catalog optimization and enrichment so that the products appear through AI search. Then if you want to be able to transact an e-commerce purchase through an AI platform, Stripe helps with the authorization and the transaction on the back end. So we're building partnerships directly with the major AI platforms, also with players like Stripe and others that are pieces of the ecosystem all around enabling agentic commerce.
And is this an offering available only to your marketplace clients, or is there a world where you might say, even if you don't have a Mirakl marketplace, we can help you with this orchestration, this AI orchestration?
There absolutely is that world. We're in the early days today.
Okay.
So right now we are with our largest of our clients, and we're doing proof of concepts and pilots of some of this technology in the agentic space. But the idea is to take it much more broadly. And in the same way that Mirakl has enabled marketplaces to broadly be part of the e-commerce world, we'd like to be a major player in agentic commerce and provide this infrastructure layer broadly to marketplace or non-marketplace clients.
Yeah, because that is one thing that has really struck me in my conversations here at the show is now particularly as checkout, as the transaction moment starts to happen on these various platforms, it sounds like a lot to manage as a retailer. So as more and more of these platforms, we have Perplexity, we have ChatGPT, we have Copilot, we now have Google, I'm sure more will follow. And to your point, if each of those answer engines is looking for different things from your website, managing all of that, making sure that you are integrated with all of them starts to sound more and more and more complicated from a business perspective.
Yeah, it is. And the opportunity for us is to say, let's make that easier for our clients. We'll manage optimizing for each of those different agents. We'll manage the transactional back end in a way that seems similar to other ways you do e-commerce, and make it easier for our clients to take advantage of this emerging agentic trend, which, as we were talking about earlier, is small today, but it's going to be quite meaningful in 2026. And the expectation is in 2027, inbound traffic from agentic agents exceeds organic inbound traffic.
Really?
Yeah, that's a BCG forecast by 2027.
Wow,
That's
I hadn't heard
significant.
that. That is very significant. So what else is on the docket then for Mirakl in 2020? I mean, that sounds like more than enough to keep you busy for the year, but is there anything else that you're looking at, working on for the year ahead?
We had some large customers we talked about earlier, Lowe's, Best Buy, and Ulta that launched marketplaces this in 2025. We will have a similar list of great new clients that launch in 2026. I'd be delighted to come back and talk to you about them when we can.
Fantastic.
Agentic is going to be a big part of our business this year as it moves from these pilots and trials into actually a core platform that we're offering broadly in the marketplace. Advertising is early for Mirakl in our product offering, and that'll be a big part of 2026. And the Connect product, we didn't talk much about this, but we have about 100,000 sellers that are selling into Mirakl marketplaces, and we are offering a Connect product that allows them to optimize their catalog, feed it into multiple different Mirakl and other third-party marketplaces.
Wow.
Manage their ad spend. So it's sort of a cockpit to manage all of your online business for our sellers.
Very interesting. So helping the seller community more easily kind of expand the marketplaces that they're selling on and optimize that.
Yeah, into multiple marketplaces.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, we are out of time, but before I let you go, I have a few rapid fire questions for you. Ready for these last fast ones? Okay, so a while back, you were honored as a disruptor by CNBC. I want to know what you think is one essential characteristic of a true disruptor, because we hear that word thrown around a lot. But what does it take to be a true disruptor?
Commitment.
Okay.
Right? There's a difference between disruption and change, and I don't want to devalue change. It's valuable. But disruption is something that's never happened before, or a 10x improvement to something that is happening. And it's all sorts of adversity that you have to fight against. So commitment to what you're trying to do is the difference between disruption and change.
Very good. I like that. Okay, now you've spent your career in tech. What is one activity that you prefer to do in analog form?
Oh, easy one. I love books in printed paper, and I have a Kindle gathering dust at home, and I never use it. I read real books.
You know what? For a long time, I was on the Kindle, and by like a confluence of circumstances, I picked up a book, like an actual physical book, about 2 years ago, and I am like, what was I ever thinking? I can't go back now. I need the paper. I need to feel the weight of it. There's something still about it.
There's something about it. I went to Kindle and came back. Same.
Yeah. I mean, the Kindle is incredibly convenient. I will say, for like travel, that's amazing, So there are pros, but I agree with you. Prior to joining Mirakl, you worked at Walmart's store number 8. Now defunct, I think. I think they did shut it down, but it was the innovation arm of Walmart, right? What's one piece of wisdom or insight that you still kind of carry with you from your time in Walmart's innovation unit?
The tech doesn't matter until it's paired with behavior change. And so when you're trying to drive new technology into customer adoption or into internal associate adoption in Walmart, the technology can only carry you so far, and figuring out ways to implement behavior change that people adopt it, embrace it, is how it sticks.
That holds so true to where we started off this conversation, where like the tech existed for marketplaces for a long time, but it took a little while for retailers to wrap their mind around it, for buyers to become okay with it, for sellers to get up to speed. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, you said you were in Hawaii yesterday, so I'm guessing you haven't been at the show that long, because my next question is, what's the most exciting session or idea you've come across? But if you've only been here a couple hours, there might not be an answer yet. Have you come across anything exciting?
Well, let me say what I'm looking for.
Yes.
Because you're right.
Let's go that direction then.
I just got here.
Yeah.
There's plenty of AI, right?
Yeah.
But the thing that I'm interested in, I'm going to go explore for, is the intersection of AI and physical product.
Okay.
So that might be in inventory or logistics, robotics. There's all sorts of interesting stuff out here on the floor, associate tools that's a personal interest as a former robotics person.
Right.
That's a personal interest of mine, and there's starting to be some interesting implications.
Oh, I can tell you there's a lot of interesting robotic stuff happening out there. There's also a dog who is interesting, like a real live dog. He's
real
really
dog.
Cute. Yeah. You'll probably see him too.
I'll look for that.
Okay, great. Well, enjoy your time here, and thank you for stopping by like right at the outset to chat with us.
Happy to have the opportunity. Nice to meet you.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Retail Remix. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a future episode. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or your favorite podcast app. Until next time, keep mixing it up.